Do you know what Red Bull has in common with Ferrari, Louis Vuitton, and Apple? They don't actually make anything themselves. Literally, every single can of Red Bull you've ever drunk wasn't made by Red Bull. It's made by an Austrian juice company called Rauch that you've never heard of. In 2024, Red Bull sold 12 billion cans, zero made by their own hands. How did a company with no factories build a $20 billion empire? Today, I'm going to tell you the story Red Bull doesn't want you to know. 1982. Dietrich Mateschitz is 38 years old. He works for Blendax, a German toothpaste company. Before that, he spent 10 years at Unilever and Procter & Gamble. He knows marketing inside out. One day, he's sent to Thailand on a business trip, and there, in steamy Bangkok, something happens that changes his life. Mateschitz checks into a hotel, jet-lagged and exhausted. A local colleague hands him a strange drink in a small brown bottle. It's called Krating Daeng, Red Bull in Thai. Mateschitz drinks it. 20 minutes later, he's ready to run a marathon. He's amazed. But not by the effect, by the fact that this drink is sold at every gas station. Truck drivers drink it. Factory workers drink it. Students drink it. And the recipe is open. No patent. Mateschitz realizes this product can be taken to Europe. Mateschitz finds the creator, Chaleo Uvidya, a Thai-Chinese businessman who created Krating Daeng in 1975 for the local market. Mateschitz offers a deal, $500,000 each. They create Red Bull GmbH in Austria. Mateschitz gets 49%. Uvidya gets 51% and the rights to everywhere except Asia. Mateschitz takes the recipe, quits P&G, and moves to a tiny Austrian village called Fuschel am See. He opens an office by the lake. People tell him, "You're crazy. Coca-Cola and Pepsi own this market." He says, "We'll see." But there's a problem. Austria's health ministry demands tests. They're suspicious of taurine, an amino acid never used in drinks before. Human trials take 3 years. 3 years Mateschitz waits and burns cash. By 1987, he's almost broke. Then approval finally comes. 1987, Red Bull launches in Austria and fails. In the first 2 years, losses hit $1 million. The drink costs twice as much as Coke, and nobody understands why. Mateschitz is desperate. Then a man walks into his office. He says, "I know how to save your company, but I want 50% and the CEO job." Mateschitz laughs and kicks him out. A month passes. Sales don't improve. The man comes back. Mateschitz thinks it over and agrees. The man slides a piece of paper across the table. 3 words. Price, packaging, placement. First word, price. Red Bull was expensive. Mateschitz wanted to lower it. The paper said, double the price. Mateschitz thought it was a joke. The man explained, cheap energy drinks. People drink them to wake up. Expensive ones, they drink to feel special. You're not selling a drink. You're selling status. Second word, packaging. Normal cans were wide and short. Red Bull made theirs tall, thin, silver blue. They look like nothing else. You spot them from across the room. They look like batteries, symbols of energy. Third word, placement. Normal drinks sit in the drink aisle between Coke and Pepsi. That's a war zone. You'll get crushed. Red Bull placed theirs at checkout counters, in bars, in nightclubs, on college campuses, where people are already ready to buy. The result, year 3, Red Bull turned a profit. By 1990, they owned Austria. By 1992, Hungary and Germany. But the real breakthrough came in 1994 when Red Bull entered the UK and failed again. 2 years in Britain, only 2 million cans sold. Losses hit $12 million. Why? They hired a local team that tried to sell the drink in pubs. People go to pubs for beer, not energy drinks. Mateschitz fired the whole team and put an Austrian in charge. New strategy, students and nightclubs. They hired promoters driving minis with fake cans on the roof, handing out free Red Bull at parties. Within a year, sales jumped 100 times to 200 million cans. By 2000, Red Bull was in 100 countries, but competitors copied them. Flying Horse, Burn, Adrenaline Rush. Same taste, same look, same slogans. How do you stay ahead? Mateschitz made a decision that seemed insane at the time. He said, We're not selling a drink. We're selling a lifestyle. We're becoming a media company. In 2007, they launched Red Bull Media House, not a marketing department, a full media company with journalists, directors, cameramen, producers. Their job, create content young people actually want to watch. Sports, adventure, music, gaming, and not a single mention of the drink. 2012, Project Red Bull Stratos. Austrian skydiver Felix Baumgartner rides a capsule into the stratosphere, 39 kilometers up, almost space. Outside temperature, -70. Pressure so low, your blood would boil without a suit. Baumgartner opens the hatch and looks down. He sees the curve of the Earth, black sky. He says, "I want to go home to my wife and kids." Then he jumps. The fall lasts 4 minutes, 22 seconds. At 34 seconds, he breaks the sound barrier. 1,342 kilometers per hour. First human to do it without a machine. At 1,500 meters, the parachute opens. He lands alive. The YouTube stream hits 8 million concurrent viewers, a 2012 record. 10 years later, the video has over 1 billion views. Newspapers worldwide write about Red Bull. The project cost $50 million. The free publicity, billions. Red Bull buys everything that moves. Formula One, football clubs, ice hockey, motocross, surfing, snowboarding, climbing, even esports. Why? 2004. Red Bull buys Jaguar Racing F1 team for $1, literally $1, but they promise to invest $400 million over 5 years. Today, the team is worth over $1 billion. 6 championship titles. Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen, stars built by Red Bull. 2005, Red Bull buys a football club in Salzburg, then New York, then Leipzig. In Germany, you can't name a club after a sponsor. Red Bull finds a loophole. They call it Rasenballsport Leipzig. Lawn Ball Sports Leipzig. Initials? RB Leipzig. Everyone knows it's Red Bull, but legally, it's not. Today, Red Bull owns 5 football clubs worldwide. They built a talent pipeline, Brazil to Leipzig, to Salzburg to New York, a factory of talent working for the brand. 2014, America. A group of consumers sues Red Bull. Their claim? They drank Red Bull for 10 years, and they never grew wings. The slogan promised, Red Bull gives you wings. So where are the wings? Sounds like a joke, but the court takes it seriously. Red Bull sees the writing on the wall. They settle. $13 million paid to anyone who bought Red Bull between 2002 and 2014. But they never changed the slogan. Why? Because wings is a metaphor. The court agreed. Now on every can, in tiny print, wings are a metaphor. You're laughing. Red Bull laughs last. The lawsuit gave them billions in free publicity. Today, Red Bull Media House includes 2 TV stations, a professional film studio, a publishing house, a record label, Red Bull TV streaming service, 5 magazines, including the Red Bulletin with 2.2 million monthly readers. Over 1,000 employees worldwide. They produce 600 pieces of content per year. Films, series, shows, documentaries. They sell licenses to Netflix, Discovery, ESPN, NBC. They make content for Nike, Casio, Dodge. And nowhere, not once, do they show the drink. The content doesn't advertise Red Bull. The content is the product. People watch Red Bull TV not because they want to buy a drink. They watch because it's cool. And the brand connection happens subconsciously. Let's look at the numbers. In 2024, Red Bull sold 12 billion cans. That's 380 cans per second. Revenue, 10 billion euros. Net profit, 1.5 billion euros. The company is fully private, owned by the Matschitz family. He died in 2022, and the Uvidja family. The Red Bull brand is valued at $20 billion. They spend 30 to 40% of revenue on marketing and sponsorship. That's $3 to $4 billion per year. Coke spends $4 billion on ads, but their revenue is 3 times higher. Red Bull spends disproportionately because they're not just advertising a drink. They're building an empire. What can we learn from Red Bull? First, you don't have to make things yourself. Red Bull has 0 factories. All production is outsourced to Rauch. They focus on what they do best, marketing and brand building. Second, find space where nobody's looking. Red Bull didn't fight Coke in supermarkets. They went to nightclubs, universities, gas stations. They created their own channel. Third, more expensive can mean better. Red Bull costs twice as much as competitors, and it works because people aren't paying for the drink. They're paying to feel part of the adventure. Fourth, become a media company. Red Bull spends billions on content that doesn't directly sell the product, but every time you watch a cool stunt, you see the bull. The connection happens subconsciously. Fifth, think massive. When Red Bull launched Stratos, everyone called it insane, too expensive, too risky. They did it anyway and got $1 billion in free ads. 2026, Red Bull keeps growing. New flavors, new markets in Africa, stronger presence in Asia. Red Bull Racing dominates F1. RB Leipzig is a top German club. Red Bull Media House produces for Netflix and Amazon, but challenges remain. Monster Energy owns 30% of the U.S. market. European competitors push natural ingredients. Young people drink less sugar. Red Bull adapts with sugar-free and organic lines. And the biggest change, Dietrich Mateschitz died in 2022. His son Mark, now 30, runs the company. So far, so good. But can he keep the crazy genius alive? Time will tell. Here's the most amazing thing about Red Bull. They're not selling a drink. They're selling an idea. The idea that you can do more, that you have wings, that you're capable of insane things. A can of soda costs $2. An idea costs $20 billion. That's not magic. That's 40 years of relentless execution, brilliant marketing, and the guts to take risks. Next time you drink a Red Bull, look at the can. Two bulls charging each other. That's the fight. The fight for attention, for market share, for a place in your head. And they're winning. So here's my question. What are you selling? A product or an idea?